So all my jig is for this one, I used a 2x6 and I put it in my Jaw Horse. Well, it's not a Jaw Horse, it's an off-brand, but you could find these. I'll leave a picture. I got this one on Amazon, I think for $100. This is something every chainsaw carver should have, is a Jaw Horse, especially for smaller size carvings, just to keep it secure. You know, anybody who starts chainsaw carving, when you're trying to do something small, it can be a hassle because the chain wants to just kick it all over the place. Metal is the kryptonite of chainsaws. Just hitting a nail, even just nicking this, could dull your chain or even ruin it. Plus, it's just not safe. So you're going to want to have a jig if you're going to be doing a lot of small stuff. This particular one I made was for pumpkins. So all it is like a 2x6. I have it long enough. The pumpkins I do are pretty heavy, so I didn't make this one as long because the farther it goes out, it's going to want to tip. So I think this one's probably like 4 foot. And then I have these bolts, these lag bolts underneath, and then they just come up through. And then you'll see the hole here. They come up through here, and then they go into the hole of whatever you're carving, and it'll hold it securely tight. So, and you can see how nicked up it is, but every gouge you see in here saves it from going into this, and you don't want to hit metal, obviously.
So I'm just using the pumpkins as an example of how I use this jig, but you could use it for any small carving project just to secure it so it doesn't fly all over the place.
Let's drill the hole.
And make sure you do pre-drill, because it's going to prevent your piece from splitting. Because the smaller the piece, the better chance you're going to have to split it if you don't pre-drill the hole.
So again, all you're going to do, come over to your jig. You got the bolt there underneath. I'm just going to pop it up so it's just barely popping through.
Also, make sure when you get your lag bolt for your jig, or your lag bolts for your jig, or screws, it could be screws, but make sure they're long enough to go through your 2x6 or 2x4, but you don't want them to be too long to where they're going to be 4 or 5 inches into your project. You only want them to go far enough in, maybe 2 inches, just to hold your piece in place while you work.
Now that you have that, you just bolt it through, and then it holds it. It holds it in place for you. See? And you could also loosen the jig, and you'll be able to spin this around if you want. But now at least it's not going anywhere, and your blade is not going to hit anywhere near the metal. Especially, you still have to be careful. And also keep in mind that there is a lag bolt going up through, so you don't want to make any deep cuts at the very bottom here. But this is the best, safest way to hold a small piece. If you're carving something small and you don't have it secured to this, you're going to put that chain in there, and as soon as you start cutting, it's going to want to kick out on you, and that could be bad. Now, if you don't have a Jaw Horse, or you don't want to buy a Jaw Horse, just use a regular wooden, I would use a regular wooden sawhorse. You can go to like Home Depot or Lowe's, I think, or maybe $20 for a sawhorse. And as long as you got the sturdy base legs, you could just drill right up through the middle, because that's wooden anyway, but it'll still help hold your smaller piece. It won't kick it around. But for a smaller piece of wood, you got to make sure it's secure. I would either use this method here, or I would use like a sawhorse. And that, fellow carvers, is just the tip.